Okay, we're here today. Identify yourself. Tell us where you came from in Italy, and we'll just go with your life story, and I'll ask you questions.
Okay, I come from Triggiano, 8 kilometers from Bari, and I arrived in the United States.
Nome, nome.
Vito Raimondi, Vito Raimondi, and I arrived in the United States in New York on May the 20th, 1965, and in Chicago on the 21st of May,
Okay.
1965.
When you were born in what year?
Triggiano,
Triggiano. Yeah.
provincia di Bari, which is Bari, 8 kilometers from
8
Bari.
kilometers.
Yeah,
And then what year?
1965.
Born, not
No. I was born in 1946.
1946.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any memories of
Oh yeah,
Bari,
a lot
of
of yes, yeah,
Triggiano?
yes. I was a barber there for 10 years.
And how did you get to be a barber?
Well, because in those days, not having any parks to go play, we used to play soccer on the streets. That meant breaking windows and things like that. So most parents would send their kids to learn a trade: barbering, carpenter, bricklayer, anything.
At what age?
I was 9 years old
You were 9 years old,
Yeah.
and you went.
to learn barbering.
And what did you do? Around
Sweep
the
the
barber's-
floor,
Sweep the floor.
clean the mirrors, clean the clippers, the scissors. And first thing that they tried to see if I was honest. And my boss at the time, which was the owner of the shop, Michele, he put 500 lire, a coin, under a chair. And he told me to sweep the floor. So I found the 500 lira and I gave it to him. So he gave me the key of the shop.
Uh,
So I opened the shop every day, 7 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock. Then we used to open at 3 o'clock in the winter and 4 o'clock in the summer because we used to go take a nap in the afternoon. And on Sunday morning, I used to open the shop at 6 o'clock until 2:30, 3 o'clock. Then we clean, this and that. And,
did he pay you anything?
Yeah. I was making my biggest pay before I left Italy was 10,000 lire a week plus the tips, that the customer gave you, like 50 cents,
Okay, now
dollar,
did you
whatever.
get to actually cut hair?
In the beginning, no, just hold the brush, shampoo the customer's head, things like that. Go buy a cappuccino, the newspaper. And then, little by little, I remember the first time I did the left sideburns.
Mm-hmm.
And the customer was a young guy, and I remember very, very vividly, just like I was today. I was really nervous, and he kept saying, "You're going to take my sideburns off, you're going to take my sideburns off." He left without the sideburn because I tried to make it nicer, but I was shaking, and my boss lost the customer.
Oh.
And a little bit at a time. Then I did the clipper, just the back of the neck. Then he would come and fix it, step by step, until I was ready for a full haircut. And, I would take always the worst customer
Mm-hmm.
to learn patience.
Oh.
And then my customer used to ask the customer, because he would leave the shop, he would leave me alone. And he would ask, "Did Vito treat you well? Did he do anything wrong? This and that." So that's the way I started.
So, what did your father do for a living?
My father, he tilled the land. What they call in Italy zappatore. With the zappa, tilling the land like that, like everybody else.
How much land did he have? Do you remember?
No, he was just working for rich people. Like everybody. Yeah, everybody more or less had picking olives.
Was he paid in money or paid
Money,
in,
no, in money,
in
money.
produce?
Yeah, no, in money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about the big explosion in the Bay of Bari during the war?
No, because I was born after the war.
But did people talk about it?
The old
make reference
people,
to it?
the old people. Yeah.
So, uh, you were born in 46?
1946. Yeah.
And then you came in 65?
5. Yeah.
Okay.
I was 19 years old. 19 years old.
19. And then, were you a practicing barber at that
Yes,
time?
yeah, I could do everything, shaving, haircuts. But when I came over here, without license, you could not work.
So what you have to do?
So I did a lot of jobs. I went to work in a steel factory, candy factory, even a Gonella baking company. I went to work in night times.
Okay, what do you remember about the Ganella, for instance, or any of
Well,
the others?
Gonella, they put me on the machine where the bread, used to come out of the oven and it used to come down on this electric, I don't know how you call it in English.
Conveyor belt?
Conveyor, yeah. And there was another thing that blew the air in the bags. The bread came in and you would put them in. You would put them in like that. That's what I used to do.
They were paper bags?
Yeah, paper bags. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then somebody else put them in the, in the boxes. Or the trucks were outside. And
Did the bread still have a stamp on it to show that it had paid?
No.
Okay.
No, the bags was just Gonella Baking Company. It was on Chicago Avenue and Damon, in that area there. Yeah.
And so there was a family business, and it had been there for a long time, and it's still there, huh?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, one of my former customers is dead, old age now. His name was Lou Conti. The father, Fabio, was part owner of, was one of the partners in the Gonella Baking Company. And I had the pleasure to know Fabio. He was an old man. He became my customer. And he was really a terrific person,
Was that family? How did you get the job there?
Friends, because we stayed 2 weeks with relatives of my father. And, the people used to come and visit us, come and visit the new Italians. But, when they saw that my father's relatives, which he had 3 brothers and 1 sister, were not helping us, they decided to help us and find jobs for us.
Were they paesani?
Oh yeah, everybody was from the same town. But
Chigiano.
among Italians there is a lot of jealousy. Not too many Italians help other Italians. So these people, they almost left us on the street. But strangers helped us a lot.
Were your relatives long-time immigrants? Who'd come before World War II?
Some 2 brothers, after the war. 2 brothers were here 2-3 years before we came.
Oh.
And another brother and sister, they probably were here like, I was 19, probably 10 years before we came.
And so tell me about your family that came here. You came as a family?
Yeah, my father, my mother, my 2 sisters and myself. 1 brother stayed behind because he was in the army in Italy.
Did he eventually come?
Yeah, he came. We arrived here in May. He came, I think, February of 66.
Okay, and this was after the change in the law. Did you have to abide by any special any special law to be allowed in at that time?
No, we just had to go for a health checkup because if you were sick, they would not let you come. So we had to go to Naples. They gave us a checkup, and we were all in good health. And they said that we could come. We waited 2 years in line. We went to work almost right away. Just a few days, and we were at work. Different types of work.
In 1965.
In 1965, yeah.
Okay.
And then
what job did your father end up with?
Well, my father, he started working at different places, but because he had problem with the calf muscle, he was prisoner in Germany of the Nazi, and they used to make him work, on a farm when it was snow, cold, and so he had all this frozen sort of burned, and he could not stand on his legs for too long. So he finally did not work anymore, but we all pitched in. All the money that we made, my sister, my brother, we all gave, my mother worked, we all gave it to the family fund. So after a year and a half, we bought a house. It was an empty
A
house.
year and a
A
half?
year and a half, yeah. On Lawndale in Iowa.
And when did you buy a car too?
Not me. My brother bought a car, but not me. I was a little bit young, and I was a little bit.
Okay. What about the change in the language and the culture? How did
Well,
you and your family handle that?
my father never learned English. My mother was able to learn quite a bit. As a matter of fact, she became citizen. She got a driver license, and but my luck was that when I came to America, I've always liked to read. But when I came to America, I never liked school in Italy. I used to run away from school. But when I got here, I saw, opening a new world to me. I was given the opportunity, and I embraced it. I didn't say, "Oh, forget it. I'm an Italian neighborhood. I don't have to learn English." No, I used to go to see movies downtown. I didn't understand a word, but I went to the movies every Wednesday because in those days barber shop closed on Wednesday. I used to get off by the cathedral, and I would walk all the way downtown on State Street, Michigan. I would go see a movie. Then I would go eat an hamburger or a steak because I understood the numbers. They are like the Italian. I didn't understand how much, but I gave her the $10, $20. They gave me the change.
Okay.
And then after that, I would walk downtown just to listen. I would go into Walgreens, Woolworth, Marshfield, just to look at things and just listen. I used to watch television late at night because once I started barbering here, I was like a block and a half from the house. So I would get up 8:30 in the morning, so I could watch TV late.
So your first barbering job, how did you get
A
it?
friend on Chicago Avenue in Lawndale. It was a Alamo barbershop. The boss was from a town called Tiene in the province of Vicenza.
So it wasn't a paisan.
No. A friend of ours was walking on Chicago Avenue where all the Italian were, and he saw a sign in the window,
Needed a barber?
need a barber. So he went in without asking me. He said, there is a kid in Italy, he's been here a few months. He's a barber, and, he took me, he spoke English, Italian, because he was from Italy, and he gave me a job. And I was on the third chair, because there was a barber on the other chair, and he told me, whenever a customer comes in, you look at me. If I go like this, that means get up. And with your hand, like, show him the chair. And then I'll come and ask, and I'll explain to you what. And that's how, when he would go like this, that meant stay sit, don't get up. And his name was Frank Munaretto. And he was nice to me, very good person.
So all of your working life has been as a barber in
I would say
Chicago?
just for a few months, I did odd job until then one day the inspector was going around, the city inspector, and he came in the shop and I didn't have the license.
Ah.
So my boss took him aside, paid him lunch, and he called somebody in the union because in those days there was a barber union, and I bought the license because I didn't speak English. I could not go for a test. Plus in Italy in those days, barbers knew how to cut hair or a shampoo or a shave, but they did not know about disease, anything like that, because it's not like over here. It was different. So even if I knew the language and I would go for a test, probably I would fail because if they would start asking about disease, this and that, I would not know. So, and I paid the license, which for us was a lot of money, and that was the start of being a barber. Then in 1971, I went on my own. And, I've been on my own since 1971. Now I've retired. But
Tell me some of the ways of the barbers. I know that sometimes they were jealous if you changed barbers, or how did you work with competing with other barbers?
No, I never competed with them. As a matter of fact, and I can bring you a picture. There was a company which was very hard for me to find because Italian barbers, they didn't want to tell me. The guy in charge in the Midwest was from a town near Rome. His name was Mario Cervi, one of the top barbers I ever seen in my life. He could do everything. But, kept asking. I found out where he was. I called him on the phone, and he told me to come and see a demonstration. Nothing pushing, if I like, I join the company. And there was no contract to sign, anything like that. And the company was called California Concept. They made shampoo, conditioners, spray, and every year they had a competition in every state of the Illinois. And then they had the states, for the entire country. And after 6 months, I won the Illinois championship. Been with this guy, because I wanted to learn. I knew what my limitation was. When I saw this guy cutting hair, I said, wow, that's the way I want to be,
Did you sign up?
No, I didn't sign up, but that was the good thing about it. You didn't have to sign any contract, anything.
But did you carry his products?
Yes, yeah. But you were not forced to sell. You buy it, you sell it, but we're not going to tell you have a quota, you have to do this or that. You were free to do, whatever. And that I liked, because I don't like to be pushed around or forced to do something.
Okay, how was your barbershop different from other barbershops?
It was different because when you came into my shop, you came into an Italian shop. And you can ask Father Fetch, Father Luigi Gandolfi. You know Luigi Gandolfi?
Yeah.
Well, you ask him. Father Pietro Gandolfi. I don't know if you ever
Pietro,
met him.
see, the other one, no.
Yeah, Pietro Gandolfi. He went to Italy. He used to come and eat by my house quite a bit. And I've always been very.
Do priests get free haircuts?
Yes.
Oh, so.
Not all the priests, no. Like, Father Fetcher, because he married me and my wife, so he knows me.
And he doesn't have that much hair.
I know, but, he's when he came last time, he didn't expect me, but I said, no, this is on me, it's a gift from me, so I wouldn't want to charge him and not because he doesn't have too much hair. He's a good person.
Well, what about all your relatives get free haircuts?
At first, yes. My story is a little bit different. I was not raised by my parents. I was raised by my mother's sister and the husband. So we lived close by, maybe 100 feet, 50 feet. There was no paper like that I was adopted, because that's what they used to do. If someone had many kids, those who didn't have kids could be abroad. They said, can I raise one of the kids as my own? But I knew my parents was, this and that. So,
I mean, the ones that you came with, which were the adopted?
And then the brother-in-laws, this and that, But once I saw, and don't put this in the interview in case, once I saw that they were taking advantage of me, and they did not like my wife because she was Sicilian. See, 50 years ago, it's not like today. My wife's family did not like me because I was not Sicilian, and my family did not like my wife because it was the same thing. But, as I thought, because I was independent, the way I was raised by my uncle and aunt was to be independent. Do what you have to do, Respect other people, but don't let other people put their way of life on you.
Okay. Vito, what did you do when you were waiting for customers?
Listen to music, read the paper, or read a book.
Do you think that a lot of barbers did that and they got an education while waiting for the customers to come?
I honestly don't know, because whenever when we had those competition, the hair cutting competition, and you would talk with other barbers, they always wanted to know if your business was good, how much you make, this and that. I was not interested in that. As a matter of fact, the guy, my teacher here in America, that Mario Cervi, when he saw that I really wanted to learn, every Monday he had a workshop, like classes, okay? And I would help him. I never got any money, but I was learning myself.
Okay. Did you ever go to English classes? Or
I went to a Methodist church, was right across the street from my house. And the pastor of the church was a customer of the shop where I worked. He was a tall guy, very skinny with a glass, a really nice person. And when he saw that I didn't speak English, in those days, every church had evening classes twice a week. So I told my boss, why don't you tell him? And being that we were right across the street, I started going. And the teacher, when she saw that, because then my brother came, when she saw that myself and my brother really wanted to learn the language, she took us under her wings. So she taught us, as a matter of fact, the old McCormick place, the one that burned down.
Yes.
My brother and myself, we went on stage to get a diploma for all the other students because
Oh.
we wanted to learn. We were not people, oh, someday we go back, forget about it. No, we wanted to learn. And I was lucky that we found this nice lady. She was of Italian background, Miss DiCaprio. I remember her name. She used to bring tea and cannoli in the wintertime when it was very cold.
Did
She
they
was-
try to make you into a Methodist?
No, never talked about religion. No, I never liked that. Because barber, you deal with a lot of people. And I've dealt with Muslims. I still have customers who have Lutheran that live in the same neighborhood where I live. As soon as they start talking about religion, that's where I put, you are what you are. If you're a good person, I like you. If you're not a good person, I'll let you go.
So, are you a talkative barber? With
Very
some of
much so. Very much so.
Okay.
Because, barber is almost like a psychiatrist. They tell you the problems, and, you try to give them your experience, and then you try to learn from the customers because they tell you, the problem, how they solve certain problems, and you learn.
Was there an Italian barbers union or an Italian
Well,
section
most
of
of-
the barbers?
No, but the union was mostly Italian, okay? But every barber had to belong to the union.
So they were pretty tough.
Very
They would
tough.
break your windows if you did the wrong thing?
Yes. As a matter of fact, there was a shop on the south side, exactly, I don't know where, because, I was new. They used to call them the bomb shelter because they would not obey the union. Because at 6:30, I think, was 6 or 6:30, you had to close the door. You could finish what was inside, but don't let anybody in. So these people would not obey. So once in a while, they used to go and throw a bomb when there was nobody there. There was never anybody got hurt. Just smash the window, things like that.
And prices? They
The
set
price,
prices?
everybody had the same price. Everybody. You could not charge less. You could charge more, but not less. More, that was your business. If the customer want to pay more, that's fine.
What did you do when hairstyles changed, like when the Beatles came?
I always kept my own style. When I was in Italy, I never changed. Never. I always went my way.
Okay. Grazie. Okay. Well, I think we've got a good start.
Yeah.
And let's...
If you want me, I come back next week. I'll bring some Pavarotti pictures, things like that.
we bring
I can bring,
also
you can put
family
the story.
pictures of
Yeah.
all kinds.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Vito. That's
Grazie
the
a
end of
te.
part one.